Yeah, welcome to another weekly edition of the Best Way to Smoke News, sponsored by none other than that's that Cali guy. Stop smoking spit,
No
people.
drip lip.
Yeah, that's right, Big J. No mother drip lip. Yeah, and this news is being presented to you by Serpo Jr.
Big J.
And guess what, man? The DEA states new rules for synthetic cannabinoids. This shit is crazy.
It's crazy, man.
The Drug Enforcement Agency recently announced at a 2023 supply chain conference in Houston, Texas, that it will soon unveil new rules regarding synthetic cannabinoids. The DEA section uh, chief of drug and chemical evaluation section, Terrence Bose, spoke on the topic of emerging trends at a conference on May the 4th. Booth confirmed that the DEA has received multiple petitions regarding synthetic cannabinoids and that they're currently reworking their rules to reflect recommendations from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Booth's PowerPoint presentation covered a wide variety of topics from modification to drug scheduling, counterfeit pill operations, and internet drug trafficking. One section was dedicated to the decade of responding to the harm, which addressed the evaluation of designer drugs such as spice slash bath salt, synthetic opioids, designer benzodiazepines, whatever the hell that shit is. I know I fucked that word up. And synthetic cannabinoids, CBD to Delta 8 THC. Booth noted that the proposed rule treats synthetic CBD with 0.1% Delta 9 THC, same as AIA, Agriculture Improvement Act, expected material. No, exempt material, which could suggest plans to descheduling synthetic CBD. So that's pretty much all this. So Delta 8 and all that other stuff that we've been talking about, it's like now that it's starting to boom pretty much. You know, people starting to get up on the Delta 8s and all of that old good type stuff because it's like it's getting you there.
Yep.
And it's like they stand right there. They want to come and regulate that shit. They trying to put their hands in everything.
Everything.
Man.
Moving on. Doctors warn seniors about consuming too much THC. Due to the uptick of incidents involving seniors consuming too much cannabis, doctors are warning older citizens about how to consume the plant correctly. Eating edibles in particular without the proper guidance is notorious for causing panic, though the risks are rarely physical. Como News in Seattle reports the doctor wants to inform seniors about ways to avoid panic and unnecessary emergency room visits. This can be solved with simple education about the differences between edibles, topicals, and smokable products and how they affect you differently. It's the responsibility of any consumer to properly research before eating an edible, for sure it is, or consuming a high THC product. If you are a first time user or if you are somebody who is used to using products from the 60s and the 70s, today's products are way more potent. Your body and your metabolism might not be used to that level of potency. That can be quite scary. Anyone getting into cannabis should be aware of the proper order to prevent panic calls to the emergency room. I kind of stumbled towards the end though, but look, that's real though. If you smoking cannabis, a lot of old people, you probably even young people fall into panic attacks and different things might happen from smoking different stuff. It's good to know, especially if you older. A lot of things can come from that that's not good. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Moving on.
Ban on outdoor pot smoking in Amsterdam's red light district to begin this month. Now that's crazy because if you think of Amsterdam, that's the place to go for a weed smoker. A new ordinance banning cannabis use on the streets in Amsterdam's red light district is slated to take effect later this month. The ban officially approved by by Amsterdam's city council last week will come into effect from May 25th and will be enforced by police and local officials. Residents of the old town suffer a lot from mass tourism and alcohol and drug abuse in the streets. Tourists also attract street dealers who in turn cause crime and insecurity. The atmosphere can get grim, especially at night. People who are under the influence hang around hang around for a long time. Residents cannot sleep well and the neighborhood becomes unsafe and unlivable. The city council said in a statement at the time. A smoking ban on the street should reduce nuisance. We are also looking at a pickup ban at certain times for soft drugs. If the nuisance does not decrease enough, we will investigate whether we can ban smoking on terraces at coffee shops, the council also states. So
Right.
pretty much it's not really because people are just out there smoking and stuff like that. I just want to like that's what I'm getting from it.
Right.
It's pretty much the nightlife and it's like other stuff
Disturbing.
that's being put out there, the partying and this, that, and the other, and it's disrupting the residents. So
Mm-hmm.
man, Amsterdam, get y'all shit straight.
Get it together. Survey. Most physicians report lack of medical marijuana knowledge to guide treatments. The Journal of Cannabis and Cannabinoid Research published new survey data titled Physicians' Attitude and Practices Regarding Cannabis and Recommending Medical Cannabis Use. Last month, ultimately finding that the majority of physicians report they don't possess adequate knowledge to guide patients on potentially using medical cannabis. Researchers affiliated with the University of Michigan at Ann Arbor conducted the survey involving 244 participating physicians. Physicians still need more cannabis education. The survey introduced notes that medical cannabis users tend not to trust or rely on healthcare providers for cannabis advice. I could dig it. In fact, previous research has shown many patients tend to avoid the conversation around medical cannabis with their healthcare provider entirely. Authors state that previous physician surveys have focused on favorability towards medical cannabis. The current study assesses how physicians interact with patients regarding cannabis in their day-to-day practice and how they address important topics such as use patterns and substituting cannabis for medication. The authors write. They also predict that surveyed physicians would generally perceive cannabis dispensary staff and caretakers as less competent in addressing the health needs of patients and would be unlikely to use their recommendation. So basically, like what physicians is saying though, like going to the dispensaries, the bud tenders, don't have enough information to really kind of tell you. They could basically just give it to you for their perspective. They can't
Hmm.
really just break it down to you what this is going to do to your body and shit like that.
Real talking. That's one of the things that like a lot of shops may be like lacking or may get a red flag on because it's like somebody may ask a question and you may not even know what the hell you're talking about. So why are you back here bud tending?
Right,
So gotta get our shit straight.
man. So, no.
Americans test positive for marijuana after workplace accidents at highest rate in 25 years. I said this shit. That's
Mm-hmm.
crazy. American workers are testing positive for marijuana following the on-job accidents at the highest levels in 25 years, according to a new report released Thursday. The report from Quest Diagnostics found that 7.3% of workers tested positive for marijuana after being involved in an accident at work in 2022, up from 6.7% in 2021. This was the highest positivity rate since 1997, the report noted. 21 states and the District of Columbia have fully legalized the use of marijuana over the last decade, while 37 states and DC have approved the drug for medical use. Marijuana use has increased overall among American workers, with positivity rates rising from 3.9% in 2021 to 4.3% in 2022. The report found workers also tested positive for uh, amphetamines at a higher rate, increasing from 1.3% to 1.5%. The rise of both marijuana and amphetamine use contributed to an overall increase in the drug positivity rate to 4.6%, a 2-decade high, according to the report.
What?
And that shit crazy. It's like soon as they said like we ain't gonna be testing on the job, this, that, and the other. Soon as certain accidents happen, they're gonna test the marijuana users or whatever it is that's documented or however they do the shit. And if it wasn't the case, it's just like any old time. Somebody went in there, that one person probably done fucked up. Now the whole crew got to get tested, but the whole crew may not have been the ones fucking up.
Right.
You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? But it's like,
Man, get it together.
be responsible.
Yep.
That's what we knew. The Serpo Jr.
Big J.
Best way to smoke, baby, baby.
Lakers.